Hi there.
Hello.
Just find your seat over there. Hey, Jared.
Do you need a couple pronunciation?
I think I got it. It's
Okay.
LaRock.
Do you want to take the bag or do you want to put it in the corner for you?
Sure. Thank you.
We will get started with our fourth and last press conference of the day. We welcome Coach LaRock and Kayla Rooks, Desiree Young, and Essence Booker. As we have in the previous press conferences, we'll ask Coach to make an opening statement, and then we'll turn it over to the student athletes for 15 minutes, and then Coach for 15 minutes. Coach?
Cool. Hello. Welcome, everyone. We're excited to be here in Tucson. It's been a great day already. We've kind of been able to, get out and experience a little bit of the town and have some lunch together. We're practicing here after that, so that's what we're really focused on. But, we're excited for our matchup with Arizona, obviously playing on their home court. Not too excited about that. We know what McHale Center is all about and the fan base and everything. But we're really confident in who we are and the game plan that we have. And we're excited to play. So we're going to, go out there and work hard.
Thank you, Coach. We'll open it up now for questions for our student athletes in the back.
Damian Alameda, KOLD News 13. Kayla, what does it mean to you to be back on your father's old stomping grounds, playing in a game of this magnitude and this stage?
It's honestly a blessing. Just the fact that we're here is a blessing, but to be able to come and play a NCAA March Madness game on his court is truly an honor, and I'm super excited to be here.
In front.
Andy Amashta, Las Vegas Review-Journal. Something that Arizona players talked about in their press conference was rebounding, and it's something that they've had to work on a lot to improve. And rebounding is obviously a strength for you guys. Is that something you guys have talked about because they're so much bigger, or what's your guys' kind of approach to rebounding going into this game?
Just box out. I mean, that's how we're going to be able to get the rebound. Is just box out. They do have a little bit of size on us, so we know we're going to have to box out, and everyone's going to have to do that.
Nathaniel Martinez with All Sports Tucson. Essence Booker, you had a really great Mountain West tournament. How does that carry over into this March Madness tournament?
Hopefully I could keep the momentum going with my teammates. But honestly, it's a whole different atmosphere here. As our coach mentioned, playing here is going to be tough, and we expect it. I feel like she's prepared us enough in practice, though, playing a couple of speakers in our ears. But it's going to be hard. But I definitely think with the team and how much excitement we have, the momentum could keep going for sure.
In the back.
Lindy, what's the biggest advice you can give to your team just from your experience and your NCAA tournament run?
I think I've just tried to encourage them that we're not playing the occasion, we're playing the game, and we've played the game all year, and it's just about doing what we do and being true to who we are, and staying committed and together. And being really tough. So it's no different. Obviously, there's, this is really cool. Just even this environment, we don't do this for our regular season games. So there's, some different hoopla that's kind of fun to be a part of. But at the end of the day, it's about the game, and we have a great game plan. We have to go out there and execute. So just trying to, keep them focused on that and, staying really grounded.
Javier Morales, All Sports Tucson. Essence, looking at Arizona's guards, how would you compare them to what you faced in the Mountain West this season?
Comparing their guards to what we faced in the Mountain West season, they have a lot of size, a lot of strength, obviously. They have some big guards, but it's just going to be about heart. I don't feel like the size and the strength is really going to matter. I mean, obviously it does if we're talking technical, but it's going to be about heart and who wants it more. I mean, it's March Madness, so.
Hi, PJ Brown from the Arizona Daily Star. For any of you, what do you think are the keys for this matchup for you?
I think the biggest keys are definitely rebounding and taking care of the ball. We know that Arizona is really good at, well, they have size on us, obviously, so rebounding, like Desi was saying, and then they're just really good defensive team, so we have to take care of the ball.
Lindy just kind of mentioned it, but you guys had the send-off. You've gotten to do all this extra stuff kind of surrounding March Madness. After this long season, after the championship, after your personal long wait to get to this stage, what has it kind of been like to go through that and experience these last couple days?
It's an honor. It's a blessing. I'm excited. I can't wait to play on the big stage. Just watching the games, obviously, that have already been played, anything happens. So we have that mentality and let the madness begin.
Up front.
Mike Rowe, Las Vegas Sun. Essence, you guys have pushed the pace all year. You like to run the ball. In this matchup, you guys going to be looking for opportunities to continue and play that way and try to get those early shots?
Yeah, I don't think anything changes despite our matchup. I mean, obviously we want to continue to be us, but we are going to have to make a few adjustments. And as Kayla emphasized, we have to take care of the ball. Arizona is a great defensive team, and they get a lot of their points off of defense. So, I mean, as a point guard, I have to set the tempo for that, but nothing changes. We want to score in transition. We want to play fast. So, yeah.
And for Lindy, your trust level in Essence to run the offense, know her spots, when to push it, when to control tempo. Can you just speak to your trust in her, and especially on a big stage like this, just your point guard knowing when to push the pace and try to get those buckets early?
Sure. I mean, her growth and just, her growth over the course of the season has just been tremendous, and in a really a position that she's never really played ever. It's just been fun to watch, and like you said, I just totally trust her, and I think her teammates trust her more than anything, and so she's got a really good feel for the game, and she's just, again, she's a learner, she's a worker, she wants to watch film, and she's just really grown, and so I think I trust her to, like, when she sees a lane, to take it, and then, you know, we try to teach our team a lot just about the flow of the game, of knowing what we've recently done in our last possessions, and then what we need to make sure we get executed coming up, whether it's momentum or, you know, turnovers or whatever it is. And so I think, you know, it starts with her, obviously, with the ball in her hands, but then, you know, everyone plays a part in that.
Just a reminder, would keep our questions to student athletes in this time period.
Essence and Desi, what have these this time between the Mountain West tournament and start of March Madness been like? What's your preparation been like? How have practices been? Stuff like that.
Well, like we said before, Coach Lindy has been preparing us for this moment, just knowing that Arizona is going to have a ton of fans. So we've been playing with loud, big speakers of people cheering and booing and just getting a feel for everything and just trying to figure out how we're going to play with people so super loud, like how we're going to get it, following our signals, practicing those, just doing the basic things.
As Desi mentioned about the fan base, she definitely has been preparing us for that. But as far as the game goes, I don't think that we're going to do anything differently. I think we prepare the same way that we do any game. But obviously, you know, coming here, it's a different atmosphere, so.
Desi, earlier you said slow starts haven't really bothered you. That's kind of been a theme for you guys this year. You've always been able to come back and run it back even in the first quarter. But, you know, Arizona's a different team, a very good team. Is that something that you're still not really worried about, or is that something that you guys really want to come out of the gates really hot?
I mean, we do want to come out the gates, you know, fast. We want to score in transition. We want to score whenever we have the ball, but it just depends on the momentum of the game, like E said. Like, sometimes some possessions might be slower than other possessions, and sometimes we might be able to get a fast break in transition.
I have one for Kayla and Desiree. Kayla, what's this mean to your family that you're able to play here at an NCAA tournament game? Because I know they've come out here before.
They all were trying to come. But it means a lot. My mom is super excited. Every time we come out here, she tells me all about her college experience with my dad and stuff like that. So I think she's super excited. My grandma's excited that I'll be able to play in my dad's gym. So I think overall they're super excited and super happy for me that I get this opportunity.
Have you had a chance to see his poster yet? Or?
Not yet. I'll be doing that later on today.
And then Desiree, just how does a player get almost 300 rebounds in a season? I mean, talk about your ability to do that.
I don't know. My teammates are always complaining how I be taking their rebounds, so. I don't know, just being tough against the glass. We always do 55 threes, and Coach Lindy's always like, don't let the ball hit the ground. Like, chase it down, follow it, see where it goes, and go get it. So I just think, like, her yelling at me and yelling at us just makes us want to get rebounds more.
Thanks.
Other questions for our student athletes? Hearing none, we'll let them go back to the locker room. We're
Thank you.
dismissed.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And now, Coach, it's your turn to get even with what they said about you, I guess.
I know.
Open it up for questions for Coach.
Hey, Lindy, your team, incredible season, but how ready are they right now for this moment?
I think they're really ready. They've got a really good, head on their shoulders. Everyone's, like you guys have asked, of how do you keep them calm, all of that. I mean, I look at their faces and they're like, okay, this is cool, but like, can we just play the game already? They've just got a really good demeanor about themselves that they're really committed to just doing whatever it takes and wanting to get the job done and being just kind of blue collar workers in that area. So, if anything, it's kind of like, man, it's felt like forever since we played and we're just ready to play, So they're ready.
Real quick, can we get a rating on Desi's impression right there?
Oh my gosh. Well, for those of you that haven't maybe seen our team play or talked to Desi much, she doesn't lack personality and character. So I think you saw that a little bit. But I have not gotten any of those rebounds for her. She has she's grabbed every single one of them. I do appreciate her saying maybe that I'm helping her focus on it. But she's just a warrior on the glass. She kind of is a little reckless and relentless. And obviously it's kind of my job to pull that out of her. But she goes and gets it. And a lot of rebounding is just willpower, and she does that. Impression, not so much. That's not her forte.
During the Arizona press conference, they're kind of talking about how that program has really grown and the impact they've had on the community and everything. Is Arizona kind of a model for what you're hoping to do at UNLV and what you hope to see in the next couple of years as you guys continue to build here?
Sure. I mean, I think Adia's done such a fabulous job. I guess now that I think about it, there's maybe more similarities than differences. I didn't play at UNLV, but just being from Las Vegas, she obviously played here and has a pride and a passion for this place to take it to where she has. And so I feel the same way. And it doesn't always have to look the same or go the same path, but what she's been able to do here is really awesome for obviously the Tucson community and for University of Arizona, but just for women's basketball too. It's really, really fun to, watch from afar.
From looking from the outside, it may seem like your team just kind of ran through the season, great year, but was there a moment that you might consider some kind of adversity or something that may have been a turning point for you in a good way, and now that you look back on it, or was it just beginning to end all roses?
Well, it definitely wasn't that. We had some really defining, I think, adversity early in the year. In December even, or Thanksgiving, we hosted our Thanksgiving tournament, and we, lost what you could maybe call a heartbreaker to UT Arlington in a game, obviously, that we felt like we could have and should have won. And they were really tough and kind of knocked us back. I thought we played our guts out at Texas Tech in a game that, was on a neutral site, that that was, I think, kind of a defining moment for our team too, of playing a team of that caliber and being like, we were right there. And maybe one or two calls or a ball bounce, it could have been a different outcome. So, I mean, obviously those are both losses, and I think, as a coach, you kind of look back on some of those things. But, it just, I think, with the new group, we had obviously a lot of new faces. It really took us, all of November and really into December to kind of just find our groove together and establish roles and some sacrifice and get going. And then once we kind of started conference play, it's like, well, we'll see what we can do. We had a really tough start to conference play, got a couple of key wins, and then, went to New Mexico and really battled there, but dropped that one. And then from there, we won 12 in a row. And so it's like, I think it was midway maybe through that streak where I was like, okay, I guess we're going to be all right. Not all of those games, are just cakewalks by any means. And we had to win games in a lot of different ways with a lot of different contributions. And so, there's been all different, I think, kind of defining moments of the season of this team. But we've just been able to kind of just really stick together. And so I think our conference is really good. I mean, we've got 4 teams in the WNIT, and 3 of them have already won, and Colorado State's playing tonight, which, I'm cheering for them. And so, our conference is only getting better. And so anyone that we face in conference gives you a different challenge and adversity. And while it may seem like we, steamrolled a little bit, that's not how we felt. And I think that's maybe the biggest thing.
Lindy, can you talk about your relationship with and your family's relationship with Lute Olson? He's wrote a glowing comment about you when you got hired at UNLV. Just talk about what he means to you guys.
Yeah, Coach Olson is my godfather. My dad played for him at Long Beach City College on his second team there, and Coach and his family have been a part of my life since I have any memories. I mean, actually, some of my earliest basketball memories are here in McHale Center. Being with Coach and the teams and watching them. And every year, my dad would bring us for a week, and we'd watch practice and hang out and, eat all the Mexican food that we can and kind of do the whole Tucson thing. And so that's that. I mean, Coach's family is our family. The Brossis, all of them. It's been great to hear from them all, especially this week. And then, our ties just run really deep. So, yeah.
Kevin Murphy with All Sports Tucson. Your family also has a great relationship with the Arizona men's basketball assistant coach, Jack Murphy.
Mm-hmm.
I know he actually coached you when you were younger for a brief time, right?
Yeah.
A little bit, okay. How much of an influence?
That's what he calls it.
How much of an influence did he have on your early development in basketball? And talk about your relationship now.
Yeah. So obviously it was through Coach that Murph was actually my babysitter. That's how he started out. And then it, I guess maybe developed into a camp coach, but he leaves the babysitting part out. But I mean, Murph's been an older brother to me since I was little. He came here. He was a manager for Coach, and obviously, like, that didn't happen by chance. My dad played a huge role in that. And then Murph's own basketball career has just kind of blossomed and taken many different turns. And our family has been right lock and step with him wherever it's been. And so, I think especially, Murph will tell you his own path has taken so many twists and turns. And whether it was I was a player or even as a younger coach, just trying to, learn from everyone else. And, he's family. And so, I'm lucky to have not just, many kind of pseudo big brothers like that, mainly through obviously my father being a high school coach and, a lot of different things, but Murph's definitely one of them.
Your players have talked, several times since winning the Mountain West about their excitement level for the NCAA tournament, but For you in coaching your first NCAA game, is there excitement for you, or as a coach you try to not get excited, or what's your approach?
I think maybe this is where I'm like taken more after them, similar to what they're supposed to be taken after me. If I'm like, it's a game, this is obviously really exciting. We have a standard and expectation in our program, though, that these are the games that we want to play in. We're not surprised to be here. Other people may be surprised that we're here, but we aren't surprised. I'm not surprised. And so we're super excited and very grateful and thankful and, just really kind of a cool opportunity to have. But, I'm not going to do anything different than I've done all year because they're not going to do anything different than they've done all year. So we're going to coach a great game and try to put our players in the most successful positions that we possibly can as coaches so they can make good decisions and make great plays, and try to stay out of their way a little bit.
Lindy, you talked a little bit about the strength of the Mountain West Conference, but what do you think a win here would do for the conference's reputation as a whole?
I think it's huge. A tournament win, really, for, I guess maybe any conference outside of the Power Five, it's significant. Again, like I've had our conference coaches like reach out to me and be like, "Go get them," we're behind you, and that support is great, and I feel it because I do the same. Wyoming last year, I was maybe the first person to text G and be like, go make some noise. And so I think a win would be really, really good for the conference as a whole. Again, it's only continuing to get better. We have great coaches and great teams and great cities for the most part and great locations. And so, I think we obviously the men have really established, kind of their competitiveness. And so they're giving us a good blueprint. And so the more we can have even better and better teams and competition and talent, then it only helps.
I think after the Mountain West tournament win, you said you've had a lot of full circle moments in your career up to this point. Where does playing at Arizona rank amongst those full circle moments so far?
It's probably pretty up there. Obviously I played here as a player, and again, I've been to a number of games. And so now to like lead a team here is just another addition to those moments here. And yeah, it's really exciting. Obviously my family will be here. I wish Coach was here. He'd really, I think, get a kick out of it and probably be torn on who to cheer for. But we know he's watching up there, and he's probably going to be sitting there with his glass of wine, having a fun time watching. So yeah, it definitely adding to the full circle.
Hi, Coach. PJ Brown from the Arizona Daily Star. Following on all that, what is it like for you to walk back into McHale Center knowing that this is where Coach coached, the floor is named for him and Bobby, and that you get to do your thing here?
Well, it's funny because just driving up here, I'm like, in a lot of ways, this feels like home too, because I've been here so much where, they're like, oh, down this hallway. And I'm like, no, I know where I'm going, So, I didn't say that, but, I'm comfortable here. You guys have great hospitality. I love the people here. And the history, the tradition. I think it was really cool to walk in with Kayla today, because that adds just another level of a layer of feeling, which is really cool. But yeah, I'm excited to be here. I have a lot of really, really good memories, and so I'm keeping that with me.
Lindy, can you share with us a really good babysitter Murph story?
Oh gosh.
Yeah, I can actually. We were in an AAU tournament. My dad, he had the AAU team outside of a high school, and so while Murph says he was a player, he was actually the manager and the babysitter, so he didn't play. So when the team was doing different things, Murph had to babysit my sister and I, and on this trip in Florida, I don't know where my parents were, but we were in the hotel room, and he had us jumping back and forth on the beds, screaming, and he taught us this bubblegum song. And it may be the most annoying song, and unfortunately, I still know it, but I'm not going to do that to you guys. And so this was like the first day of, like the four-day trip, And I think my mother wanted to like wring Murph's neck after when they came back because we were jumping on the beds and singing that song for the rest of the trip. Murph also knows the song, so I'm sure he's taught it to his children too. Or if he hasn't, then I'm going to.
Coach Andy Morales with All Sports Tucson. I actually left Julie Hairgrove
Yeah,
at her daughter's playing softball down the street.
cool.
But she was really conflicted this weekend,
Mm-hmm.
especially with Alyssa Brown, who was chasing her Arizona State scoring record.
Yeah.
And Alyssa Brown's grandfather played here also.
Mm-hmm.
Can you talk a little bit about Alyssa Brown?
Yeah, I mean, just we call her AP because we have two Alyssas, so forgive me on the nickname. But just what an awesome young person. Obviously, recruiting her from Tucson, and I mean, she nearly broke the record book, right? And just a prolific scorer and rebounder, and did everything. I think, you know, obviously for our team right now, she's playing behind the Player of the Year, the Sixth Woman of the Year, and Kayla Rooks. And the best thing about AB is she is soaking up every minute with them to try to learn and get better, because she's going to be one hell of a player for us. Now she's played spot minutes this year, but for the future of Lady Rebel basketball, Alyssa Brown's going to be a huge part of it. And I'm really, really excited. She has a great family, great support, just great friends. Just, again, another person that just has great character. I think you guys probably know that from maybe all the interviews you did with her in high school. But I love coaching her, and I'm excited to coach her for the next 4 years because she's going to be really good for us.
Any other questions for Coach in the room?
Real quick, Lindy, a lot of people talk about this team being young, you know, lots of freshmen and sophomores who are playing big minutes for you guys, but you've always said that after this whole season they're not youth anymore. How would you kind of expand on that looking at the March Madness tournament, because this is, for a lot of your players, their first experience?
Well, we are young on paper. And a lot of our young players have been able to get a lot of experience and experience together. No one has played in the NCAA tournament, so this just adds to it. And so, you know, we expect obviously some jitters, some butterflies, you know, early in the game, but they're competitors and they're really connected and together. So I think, if anything, they'll lean on each other and kind of, you know, they're just fearless, which is, I think, a really good quality in this kind of situation as a team. And so I'm excited for them to share this experience and then carry it with them for future, because, again, we want to be back here.
When you first took this job, what did you see as the trajectory of the program, and are you on schedule, faster?
You know, when I took the job, obviously, I think it starts with the belief of knowing what we could do, and not just me knowing it, but our staff, our administration really knowing it and believing it and really believing in it. And so did I think that, you know, I'd be right here on this day in 2022? Probably not. But I'm sure dang excited I am. And, you know, yeah, this is kind of right on the path where we thought we could be. And so, but again, I think we're still just scratching the surface, and, you know, it's great to be here. But the consistency of that's the hard part. That's the hard part. And so, you know, the bigger task is maybe even next year to do the same thing or more. So that will be our challenge whenever that comes. But, you know, I'm really proud of what we've been able to do. Obviously, I mean, I haven't scored a single point. So we've got the right people around us, and I think that's the biggest thing, the staff, and obviously the talented players. And so we've been able to do that really quickly. And sometimes people is the hardest part that takes the longer time to get around, whether it's a you know, corporation administration, whatever it is. So I'm pretty thankful that I was able to get like my first round draft picks of staff and players and recruits and all of that. So because we worked really hard to do that, and so it's great to be here in this situation, right now.
With that, I think we'll move to, we have some people attending remotely, and we have a question from John Tritch of KLS TV. John?
Hi, Coach. It's John.
Hey, John.
How are you?
Good. Can't see you, but I know you're smiling.
Well, yes, I definitely am. So March can be contagious, the magic. And I'm sure you and your players saw 15 seed St. Peter's beat Kentucky and Richmond beat Iowa. Does that bolster belief and maybe remind you that regardless of that Pac-10 or Pac-12 opponent, that it just takes 40 minutes of good basketball for anything to happen?
Yeah, well, I think maybe that's a perk of not playing on the first day or in the first game, because, we know it's March. Things are bound to happen. There are going to be some major upsets, and I think, when we're, quote, the underdog in this situation, you watch some of those games, and it's like, you do start to think, well, why not us? I mean, not that we didn't believe it before, but, really anything can happen if you go out there and execute your game plan. I mean, St. Peter's didn't win on a fluke. They had a great game plan. They went out there and executed and, got the job done. And so, it's exciting to see that. And even on the women's side, there, was a few upsets today, which, again, I think is great for our game. I think it's fun to watch. It makes for really exciting times. And, yeah, maybe it gives us a little pat on the back of, like, you could be one too.
You have a follow-up question, John?
No, I'm good. Give them hell.
Okay.
That's right.
Well, thank you, Coach. With that, we'll conclude the press conference, and welcome back, and congratulations on a great year.
Yeah, thank you. I really appreciate, especially you Tucson, news people. You've done a great job. We have a lot of different storylines, especially on our team. I know you've really been diligent of covering it all, even when we're not your team. But you've done it really nicely for our players to help create this great experience. So thank you.
Thank you, Coach.